All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone is having a good morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Let's get this show started. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Norm, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. All right, so let's get this all set up here. Let's make sure. Here we are. All right, good morning, guys. All right, so let's get into it, guys. Here was my watch list from yesterday. So we'll go over that, and then we have our gappers list, which today looks like we're gonna have another interesting day with a lot quite on here. Let me make sure this is live. Yep, this is live. So, yeah, we got quite a bit on here. I can see some tickers I haven't seen before in a very long time, so that's good. And then we also have our Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers we're going to get into. So, let's go for it. Let's see what we had yesterday. So I was watching AMD yesterday. As you can see, just a lot of stocks that were a little bit choppy yesterday. So AMD, let's zoom into here the 5-minute, and then let's go over on the one up here. We'll see how the action was yesterday. So I was watching AMD very closely, looking for opening range breakdown. And again, it did give you a little breakdown here, probably got 1 hour or so. But then after that, it just became very choppy. Just bouncing around the VWAP, not really selling down anymore, not really selling up. So it took a while for it to actually get going and do this move here. Once the SPY decided to actually do something towards the upside, right? I think a lot of stocks were just waiting for that bounce. And that was AMD yesterday. So again, just chopping around here, chopping around, and then eventually, finally, towards the end of the day, breaks out nicely for towards the high of the day here. So that was AMD yesterday. GSKY was very nice, but this one I did not have shares for sure. But this was a beautiful short, very clean. You can see here right at the open, nice little pullback, drops down, another nice pullback for opening range breakdown. This is your range here, and this is your breakdown, heading towards the low of the day or even lower. And then gives this beautiful drop, right? So again, just a beautiful open range breakdown in GSKY. It does try to get above VWAP, cannot hold, gives you a nice double top here, and then drops right back down towards the low of the day. And then if you were able to hold, depending on where your entry was, look at this beautiful play here. So it tests this VWAP one more time. This time doesn't even get close to it, can't get above it, and then it just dumps right back down again. So if you had shares for short on this one, that would have been an amazing play on GSKY. Very clean yesterday morning. SQ was probably one of the best stocks to trade. SQ, as you can see here, a beautiful opening range. Looks like it's going to take off, heads back down, and then blows right by all these moving averages, and then gives you this beautiful pullback for this opening range breakdown, which is what we like to see. So that pullback right there towards the VWAP, the moving averages cannot hold, sells right back down nicely, and then just see how it just gives you this beautiful, nice big red candles all the way down. Pull back towards VWAP and moving average, cannot quite get above it, and then another leg down on SQ. So again, SQ was just so clean yesterday at the open. Look at this beautiful move here. Several downward moves. So you also got an ABCD pattern. I can't spot these very well when the action is actually happening, but you do have a reverse ABCD pattern here as well. Again, very clean for those that look for that strategy. Here's Apple. Apple a little bit choppy at the open, not as clean as I expected it. It did have an amazing pre-market action though with some great volume, so I expected it was going to be a little bit cleaner. Didn't quite turn out that way. I think the SPY held a lot of stock from actually trading well yesterday, because I think everybody was looking at the SPY saying what's going to happen next, and kind of like waiting to see what was the next move here. So you can see it pops up here. I thought it was going to pull back and continue to be strong. Doesn't quite do that. Gives you kind of a double top around this area, then it sells right back down. It's just, but again, this sell-off looks clean now, but guys, this was not as clean as it was when it was actually happening. So finally, towards the middle of the day, the noonish, you can see it starts finding the kind of bottom and then taking up nicely here, heading back towards the highs of the day. Here's NVIDIA. I did not watch NVIDIA close. I think this was probably one that I took off from my list. I did watch ACB and MU. So ACB, you can see it pops up nicely. It looks like it's going to keep going with strength, but then you got this crazy drop, passing the low of the day, engulfing the previous candle. Now this becomes a nice engulfing crack, right? So you get in here for the engulfing of the previous candle for this strategy, and then you take it short towards the bottom, and you see you can get a pullback towards the VWAP. This could have been another entry once you saw that it was hesitating, and then it drops even lower than the low of the day at that time, just dropping nicely. Then here it gets a little tricky. A lot of people were kind of expecting hopefully a bounce or reversal. It is holding this 200 moving average, but then it just chopped around this area for almost the rest of the day until the close, right? So didn't give you much besides this nice drop here right at the open. ACB was great. ACB was very strong right at the open. But again, it's just look at the way it happens. You get this weird indecision candle, and then the next 5-minute candle just takes off, right? Again, so just very difficult to take that for an open range breakup because that first candle doesn't really give you a range, right? So in this entry here could have gone either way, and it's tough to chase something, especially after 2, 3, 4 green candles. Very difficult to get in for entry on something that looks already very extended on the 5, so you got to be careful with that. Then gives you an engulfing pattern here at the top, and then on the third 5-minute candle, or not even, this was the 9:45, and then sells off nicely right down to VWAP. So again, that was your ABCD yesterday. MU had a very rough start, man. I mean, we saw this candle happening. We thought it was going to be strong. Then that same candle just pulls back all the way back down. So once it did that, we're like, okay, this is no longer a stock I want to watch to take an entry for. Because once you do that weird candle, you just don't really know what's going to happen. Is it going to bounce back, keep going high, or is it going to sell off? But again, it's just not a good strategy that I have found tradable. So not easy to trade there. Then later on it loses the VWAP nicely, becomes a great short. But again, it's just after looking at this mess here, not easy to take that trade one way or the other. So that was our watch list yesterday's, guys. Not the cleanest watch list, and it was very tough to trade in the morning. I'm not sure about you guys, but it was very difficult to trade in the morning. Things were not as clean as we're used to seeing them, and I think it's because the way the SPY's been trading. I think that's some part of the reason why. All right, so let's get into some news, Norm, before we get to our gappers list here. What do we have today and for the week?
Not a whole lot of economic data this week. Nothing really exciting today. The SPY had been up a little bit this morning, green. It's gone red. It looks like bond yields are kind of impacting what's going on in the SPY, making people a little bit nervous. So, of course, we've still got the same trade war news and everything else going on at the moment. So, nothing too exciting. SPY's almost down 1%, going for low of day as of the moment. Just hit low of day, so we shall see what it brings to us today.
Yep, we see here we're very active once again this morning. Interesting daily candles. You can see beautiful drop here 2 days ago, yesterday, kind of more of a rebound day, but not really trying to close this gap, and then now back down. So interesting on what's going to happen today. All right, guys, so we have quite a bit of a list here. Let's get through this, see what looks good, what looks great. I expect this just like it has been over the last several days, where this becomes very big and is a little more challenging, right, to find stocks that are truly in play. I'll give you an example. Yesterday we had ALLK. This was one that someone had mentioned, but I took this one off my list because I just had way too many. And look how this traded. I mean, this really took off. This was amazing. It's just kind of real choppy here, but then it decides to break out, and look at this pop. And the other one was SHAK, right? Shake Shack, by the way, amazing shakes from these guys. But look at this. Beautiful open range breakup, and then it just takes off, never looking back, right? This thing really becomes parabolic at one point. So again, just another one that just gave you an example, guys. Sometimes we miss things, right? This doesn't look like a good pre-market activity at all. No action happening here. But in the daily chart, right? In the daily chart, you had this consolidation happening, and look at the type of day that it put in yesterday. So sometimes you can't catch them all, but this hit our scanners, so you was able to catch it on the scanners and be able to possibly take a trade on that. But again, very difficult once it gets too extended past the point of a good entry. So, all right, let's start over with CBN. So CBM, let's put this right up here.
That's a buyout. It's a cash buyout by a private equity firm.
All right, so that looks nasty, guys. We'll get rid of this one. Next, we have RYTM. All right, RYTM. This one looks up 31%, 472,000 shares traded so far. Pre-market activity, though, it's not looking all that great. I do see some huge trades being placed down here. You got another one also down here as well. So it's got some huge block trades. So I'm not sure. Oh, wait a second. This is nope, this is CBM. So this is CBM. Hold on a second. Let me get the right chart in here. Here we go. All right, so let me make sure we have the right thing. Yep. Yeah, still same thing. We still got the time of sales is for RYTM. You can see some huge block trades on here. So pre-market activity not looking great in here. So we will skip on this one. Actually, you know what? No, this could be all right. Let's give it a little time. This could be all right.
It could, despite the block trades, this one could be in play. They announced some positive clinical trials, so we'll see.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the 5 now, and this could turn into something. So yeah, let's keep that on there. Next we have WW. So WW up 20%, 177,000 shares traded this morning. Pre-market activity. Wait a minute. Here we go. All right, so pre-market activity looking actually okay, looking decent on this one. This one I have found difficult to trade. Weight Watchers, it could be a little choppy sometimes. What's the news on this one? They've got some positive earnings today.
Yeah, they had earnings last night, so it was better than expected, and they're getting a nice pop out of it. We traded this one in the past. It's been all over the place.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy one to trade. But here they're up 21%, 179,000 shares traded. Pre-market activity looks great. So definitely worth taking a look at it today. Next we have CVS. CVS is a tough one. Doesn't move much sometimes, but let's see how it does today. So we have is up 4.1, 322,000 shares traded today. Pre-market activity starting from here looks very nice. So hopefully that can continue. It's got some great volume. Are these guys reporting as well, Norm?
Yeah, they reported earnings this morning and beat, so that's what's popped them up and going against the market.
All right, excellent. So that's good to watch. AG here. AG is up 3.1, 260,000 shares traded so far. So on AG, let's see what we got going on here. So daily chart looks all right. Looks like we're stuck in the consolidation period. The pre-market activity not as great right now, but that could change. But again, it looks like we're stuck with some consolidation here on the daily chart. Hopefully we can break out of this this area here. Any news on this one today?
On AG, they reported earnings. I didn't dig too far into their results, but that is what's popping them today as well. Yeah.
All right, excellent. Next we have gold.
And on top of that, they're with what's going on with bond yields and such, that's going to spike precious metals, and that's AG's deals in those commodities. So
yeah, you can see we have gold.
That's going to pop them as well. Same thing with gold.
Yeah. I usually do not trade these anyway. Brian does watch this quite closely, so he does take some swing trades sometimes on these. So if you're not signed up to his swing trade alerts, make sure you do that. I was looking at the results. We were looking at it the other day on the website. So go on the website, you can see the results of his swing trading, and they're quite impressive. So definitely check that out. But I'm going to remove these two guys because I just really do not watch these as for day trading per se, the way I trade. So I'm just going to remove those based on that. Next we have Snap. Snap here, it is up 2.7, 967,000 shares traded so far. You can see we got a nice big drop on the daily, right? It's hitting 18s. It's kind of on a little downtrend now, kind of getting to some areas of support. It lost some of this area of support that it had down here. Now the next one could be that 1554 we have here. Unfortunate for Snap, I do not have shares for short. But it is worth giving it a look. It can tend to trade a little choppy sometimes, but I have seen days that, especially like this one here, I remember this one perfectly, where it has traded very well and very clean. So it can surprise you. We'll keep it on here for now. They will make a decision later on as the day develops. Disney is down 4.9, 379,000 shares traded. Any news on these guys?
They reported earnings last night. I was actually watching it when it released, and it was all over the place. So their conference call then cemented this nice 5% decline. We'll see what happens there.
All right, so they're down quite a bit here. You can see their price action stopping right at an area of seems to be support and resisting at some previous times around here. So that looks interesting. Worth definitely taking a look on Disney here. Next we have, what do we have on here? ATNX. So ATNX is down 11.5. Got some nasty pre-market action right now. Not really anything too exciting. 105,000 shares traded so far. So we'll see if this gets any better. Some of the dailies on here though don't look very nice. You see the on here very choppy. Just not really nice daily candles on here. Then you got some areas where it does seem to have traded very well on this here. So let's see what we can get out of ANTX. Doesn't look too great right now. I'm not familiar with the stock, so I'm not sure how it trades. Norm, anything out of the ordinary with this one today?
It's a biotech. They reported earnings this morning. It seems like it was mixed results. I don't quite see why. I don't yet quite see why it would be down 11.5%. But the market doesn't lie.
Yep.
So I'm digging into it, and I'll let you know if I see anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, it doesn't look too great anyways. I mean, the pre-market activity, you have this drop and this happening here, but then it's just kind of getting pretty
Yeah.
flat. Got a nice, nasty candle here with no activity, really 34,000 shares or so. That's almost a third of what's happening. So again, not too exciting on the pre-market action, but we'll keep it on here in case it gets some activity. Just want to run through the gappers list, make sure I covered everything. Yep, so that's our gappers list. Let's look at our NASDAQ active, starting with NAKD. This is one that's a penny stock, doesn't trade well. Volatility index obviously up since the SPY is dropping. You can see here it's got a nice pre-market activity on the way up. GNMX, GN penny stock, NASDAQ ETF, AMD. AMD starting to head towards the bottom here. Looks like it could be dropping with the SPY, but it has a clean pre-market activity, 866,000 shares as well. So that's quite a bit. I like that. IGSB, nothing happening here, guys. I don't see anything clean. It has volume, 567. Okay, here it is. There's the volume. It's just one huge block trade. You can see right on there in the times and sales, and you can see it right on here in this one candle. So nothing tradable there. NASDAQ ETF, TLT, this morning's up 1%. Now this is a treasury, I understand. So again, it could be is up 1.1 right now with some volume. So not really tradable in the way we trade in our strategies. So we'll bypass that one. RYTM we have here, not the cleanest pre-market action as we mentioned earlier, but this could turn into something. So we'll definitely take a look at it. I'm sorry. Oh, did I say AMD? Oh, I typed it wrong here, but I did look at AMD. Okay. Thank you for that. AMD. Here we go. Just want to make sure. Yeah, that's the one we're talking about. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Then we have NASDAQ ETF. And then on number 11, we have Beyond the Meat. I'm going to look at this one just because. Yes, take a look at what's going on. So again, just kind of pretty much following whatever the SPY is doing, right? It seems a lot of stocks are doing that as well with the huge drop. So dropped yesterday, didn't do much. Not doing much this morning right now. So we'll see what develops out of this. But again, not really anything exciting at the moment for Beyond the Meat. And also one stock that's just so difficult to trade. You got to be very careful with this one. Let's go over to our NASDAQ gainer. So we have RYTM. We spoke about already. WW we have as well. Let's hope this pre-market activity can start getting a little better. GH on here with only 50,000 shares traded. It is up quite a bit, but again, just a nasty overall. Some nasty daily candles, nasty daily chart. I don't see a very clean pattern on GH and not much activity anyways. Looks like it could be heading higher here in the volume, but right now not looking too good. SEDG also not much activity. It's gonna be cracking 100K pretty soon. Looks like it's at 72 right now. Pre-market activity not looking all that great, but it is up 19.2. We have traded this one in the past when it gapped up before. You can see here it did ran up, so I'm assuming that's the day we traded it. And then it did put in a couple of good days on here before it started getting some nasty candles in here, right? So this could be worth taking a look at. Let's put it on here. Let's see how that changes later on. SLRX no volume. MTCH. This one is gapping up 15.5. I looked at this one before in the past. I don't like the way this one trades, but today you got a little bit of some volume. It is up 15.5. Let's check the float on this. This could be something today. MTCH. Yep, 70 million shares flow. ATR of 277. So this could be worth taking a look at. I already see I don't have shares for sure. I'm already short bias if this thing starts losing it, but let's see. Back to our gainers list, we have SND. Horrible pre-market activity there on SND. Volatility index, which we looked at already. AVGR, this is one we have looked at before in the past. This thing dropped, went from as high as 12 bucks, now trading at $1.60. So for me personally, not really tradable. No volume at the moment, only 1,900 units traded. Heading down to the last one on this list, TXMD, also not looking great. No volume, not a great pre-market activity. So all right guys, what do you guys have on your end? What do you guys like this morning? I see we have Uber. Let's see what Uber is doing today. I don't see much going on Uber this morning. Norm, how's your top four? Anything you like so far this morning?
Well, I mean, I've got my eye on NVIDIA especially. It almost hit, it was just shy of 180. And in the last 2 weeks, it's come all the way down to 150. So It's found a little support before in the 145, 148 area.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep my eye to see what happens with that. I mean, it's going to be a lot of it's going to be involved with what goes on with the SPY today. See if the market can put a bottom in here, find some support. You remember a couple of months ago, even at the beginning of the summer, we had been bouncing around between 281 and 280 10ish and 291ish before we started making new highs again.
Right.
And so we're right back in that zone. We're about halfway between that channel. So I'm going to see where we settle out here really before I get too aggressive in anything. Mm-hmm. But Facebook's down a little bit over 1% on some okay volume. So I mean, potentially my favorites are in play today. We'll just have to see how the rest of the morning pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we have Roku. Yes, let's see what Roku is doing today. Roku was very active yesterday. I mean, Roku did give you some nice moves. It actually held very nicely when the SPY was selling off. This was on Monday, I believe it was. Actually held pretty good, and then yesterday here kind of gave a lot of it back very aggressively. So Roku was nice to trade yesterday as well. LL, no volume, but it looks interesting. Let's check. So LL, yes, I see there's no volume on here, but you do have a nice daily. Looks like it's dropping, losing this area of support over the last couple of days, about 4 days here, holding that $8 mark. So yeah, I agree with you, Peter. This does look interesting. Looks like we have traded this one in the past up here. Are we at all-time low with this one? Let's take a look at our weekly chart here. We might be. Looks like we are. Yeah, we might be at all-time low on this one. All right, so yeah, this was worth watching. We'll definitely take a look at it. It's got some activity now. Hopefully the pre-market action can get a little better. We could definitely take a look at this one here. AG, we looked at, guys. I'm not going to watch AG. It is... Again, it is up quite a bit now, but I think we explained this kind of moves with that commodity, right? Gold. I think we were mentioning Norm, correct? For AG.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so, absolutely.
So I'm not really going to watch that one because I think it just depends on what the market does, and I think that for common stocks, our strategies work best on those. Not that it's not tradable, it definitely is, but I prefer to trade something else. DWT, let's see what we have there. DWT has a nice setup. You can see on the daily here, it's just coming out testing these moving ETF. Averages. I'm sorry?
You've got a, yeah.
Yes, the ETF, yeah. So
it's a crude oil ETF.
Yeah, so it does have a nice setup here, guys. But again, it's one of those stocks that you just, it's kind of like, these are the Bryans. Brian trades this stuff very well. The nuggets of the world, the gold, you know. This is definitely Brian's expertise. This depends a lot how the market is doing, right? So I prefer to trade stuff like AMD, actual companies. For my liking, I prefer those better. All right, so let's see what else we have, guys. So yeah, so Nugget, same thing with that. NVTA, see what we have here. NVTA doesn't have a lot of volume right now, 67,000. Again, guys, we're gonna have a lot to go through today. You already see the gappers list is getting crazy, right? So we're gonna have a lot of stocks within that area where they could be good, but the volume is not there and the pre-market activity is not there. We're gonna have a lot of those, so we're gonna have to be very picky today. Again, this happens when you have earnings, when you have the SPY moving the way it is. Usually the stuff within this area here, this 4 and these 5s, you got to be very careful with, as they might not be moving independently. All right, what else we have? So NEWR. So NEWR, this is a nice drop here. See, this is interesting. NEWR is dropping 27%. Wow, pre-market activity not looking all that great. But it is starting to hopefully get going here. So yeah, this is interesting.
They had earnings yesterday, and their guidance on their call was pretty abysmal.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth watching this on NEWR, guys, as that looks like a good one. CYBR, not a lot of activity right now. I do see what you're looking at. It's coming down to this drop. It's down 3.3, and you can see where it's at an area of support, right? So if it can lose this, it definitely could be very nice. That's way too big. It could lose it, could be very nice here, right? So I definitely see what you're looking at. You can see this nice daily bounces here, and we're back at that point. So that could be interesting. But right now, the pre-market activity is not looking all that great, and the volume is not quite there. We'll do a few more, guys, because I know it's going to be plenty on here. So we'll do Teva, and then we'll do BAC. So Teva hasn't been trading very well. Look at this, 1.8 million shares traded right now. Look at the pre-market activity, right? This kind of tells you how Teva trades. And since it's been stuck in this range, this $8 range, it has been very difficult to trade. This stock is difficult to trade no matter what, even in the past. But it was easy to trade when it's at a higher dollar range. I don't know if you remember that, Norm, but around the 20s and 25s, yeah, we were trading this every day, and it was very clean. Once it came down below 10, it has picked up like a different character or something, but it's definitely not trading clean in this area. So that's what I don't like about Teva. Do one more, Bank of America, just to see how the banking sector is doing. But you can see here, Bank of America is only down 2.3. It has some volume, and actually I do like what the daily is sitting at here on this area of possible support and resistance. My issue with Bank of America is it doesn't move a lot, right? But today could be one of those days where you can get a big move like this. So if you like watching Bank of America, you like the way it trades, you like the way its price range is, definitely one to watch today. You do have a decent pre-market activity for this type of stock. So this is decent here. Norm, aside from it down 2.3, any news in the banking area or Bank of America going on?
Yeah, I mean, this is all being caused by global bond yields. So the same stuff. It's the same piece of news that's popping gold, and AG and all that is sinking Bank of America overall.
Excellent. So it will be a good idea just to watch one of these in that sector if you want, just to make sure that you have an eye on something that could be running. That could be an opportunity there. All right, guys, we got quite a bit. Let's get to announcements, and then we'll go over what we have here. We'll eliminate some of the weak ones on there, and then we'll go back and look at which ones are popping up here that can have a good pre-market activity on the gappers.
Yeah, I'm going to fly through announcements because I know the gapper is going to keep growing, and we're going to be short on time here. But Trade Ideas, a few times a year, they give a test drive for 5 days for a very low rate. The rate really only is paying for the data that they have to pay for, $8.99. Got a few days left to sign up for that. There's a link up in the alerts. Bearable Traders was nominated for a Benzinga FinTech Award. You can vote once per day per device. If you enjoy the content, the community, and everything else here, we would be honored to have your vote if you enjoy it. And then next lifetime member webinar is going to be tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. There is a thread in the forums posted to add your questions to for the webinar. If you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't been in the room and you'd like to come trade live with us and see what the chat room is like, you can do it for a discounted rate. Use the promo code PREMARKET24, PREMARKET24, no spaces, for a 1-week trial that does not auto-renew or anything. And that is about it. I'll just remind people, especially when we get going and the market opens up, to post anything not directly related to tickers, setups, trades in the off topic. If you have questions about platform or brokers or commissions or anything like that, post it in off topic and we'll answer in there. So that is all I have.
All right, excellent, guys. All right, so we have a bit here. Let's go through this. Let's actually go through them first and remove some of the ones that don't look too great. So RYTM, this one looks interesting. We'll keep that one. Weight Watchers, this one right now, I'm on the fence on this one. Doesn't trade very well, so let's see. CVS, we'll see. Snap, I'm going to get rid of, guys, just because I don't have shares for sure. So this is where you want to be a little bit picky when you have so many stocks and options. So I'm going to get rid of this one. Disney, I like Disney. I like the way the daily is setting up, so we'll keep Disney. ATNX, I'm gonna get rid of this one now. Just don't know what's going on with it. It's not really giving us a good pre-market activity. It does have a nice drop here, 15.7, but again, just even the daily doesn't look as great. You have a lot of days here that are just pretty crappy. You have several days where you have some good movements. The rest don't look as great, so I'm gonna get rid of this one for now. AMD, what do we have on AMD? Yeah, we'll keep AMD. Pre-market activity is looking very nice here on AMD. We got some levels towards the bottom. SEDG, SEDG pre-market activity is not looking all that great. It does got some volume, 78,000 shares traded. I don't have shares for sure, so this is, on a day like this, I want to be picky, right? I want to take stocks that I can trade both ways. So this one I can't. I don't have shares for sure. I'm going to remove this one. All right, let's get rid of this one here. MTCH also no shares for sure for me, so I'm going to remove this one. And this one also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this one does not trade very well, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to get rid of this one also. Nvidia will keep, Facebook will keep, Roku will go through. LL, I like the drop here, also the low for the last 10 years or so Peter was mentioning. And NEWR, I do like this one also. So at least we got rid of some that were not looking great. And then let's go through these, let's get some levels, and then we'll go back to the gappers and see what else we can find there if anything looks interesting. All right, so RYTM, guys, high of the pre-market sitting at 27, 28 actually on the dot. High of the pre-market sitting at 28. Low of the pre-market right now sitting at 23.50. So let's mark that down. In between here, we do have some areas of consolidation. You can clearly see 25.11. See how that consolidation is happening right on there all across 25.11. Mark that down. And then towards the top, it's kind of the top of this consolidation around 26.73, right? So you can see here you have the support. Pops back up, then it comes down. It just gets stuck within this range for a couple of weeks, really, until you can finally break out. Comes back down, tests this support one more time. Once it loses it, beautiful drop all the way down to 23 and further. So I really like the way that is set up there. Then towards the bottom of the pre-market price, we do have another area right here as well, 22.07. I do like we have a moving average there as well. But you also have, if you draw that line across, you can clearly see the areas of support and then resistance, right? So you can see that 22.07 is very nice. Then towards the bottom, if you want to have just one more level in case this thing decides to go for a nice little swim here, you have 20.78. You can mark that area as well as an additional area of support if we lose some of these levels towards the top. You also have moving averages getting close at 20.70, 20.78 area, so that's good also. Towards the top, if we can get back up there, 28.06 is the high of the pre-market right now. Above that, you have a nice pop here around 29.11, so you can mark that down. And then you can also put one more area all the way up here at 30.35. I don't think we're trying to head in that direction anytime soon, but we'll see what we can get out of this one this morning. So right now, pre-market action looking pretty dull. I do like the pop. I do like this up 20.4. But again, pre-market activity not looking all that great. What's the float on this one? Also, the flow is 33. So it's a little bit on the lower side, right? So you gotta be very careful the number of shares you take here. This thing looks like it has a high ATR of 93 cents on a regular basis. Today obviously is going through a couple of bucks, so be very aware of that. Again, your low pre-market 23.50, your high is 28. So that's almost a $450 range there. Be very careful. So next we have Weight Watchers. Let's see what Weight Watchers is up to. Pre-market activity not looking all that great. I do like the pop here at 20. I do not like that there's no shares for sure on my end, but high of the pre-market sitting at 26.97, low of the pre-market sitting at 25.11. Towards the bottom, let's see what we can find. We have an area here at 23.27. The reason why I like this area, you got support happening here, also resistance and support as well around 23.27. You have this pop here. I know it's yeah, I'm going to mark this pop here because clearly 24.42 at one point was resistance. You can see it comes up, tests this, and then heads right back down. So I'm going to mark that down. I think that's plenty towards the bottom. Now let's go over towards the top. Towards the top, I think we do have, wow, look at this 26.97, which is also the high of the pre-market. Also seems to be where the last gap found some support in this area here. So towards the top, let's see what we can find here. Just get one or two levels are good. Clearly, we have this one up here, which is 30.85. And then you can mark down this one here, 28.93, right? You got some areas of support here and resistance between these two levels. I don't think Weight Watchers will make that type of run, but we're ready in case it does. So that's Weight Watchers for us today. CVS. You know what? I kept CVS, but CVS could be very tricky to trade. If it's not really in play, it can give you a very hard time. So I'm going to mark the high of the pre-market here at 57.70. If we find something better, we can definitely replace CVS with something else. High of this peak over here, 60.11. That's a stretch. I'm going to also mark down this little pop over here, 58.50, just to have something between the high of the pre-market, and also this this nice spike all the way up here at 60.11. Towards the bottom, price action is really sitting right on an area of support and resistance, right on here. So I'm gonna mark it. I know the price action is right on it, but this 56.75 I do like, because you can see several days, banging their head on that level there. Towards the bottom, you have 56, which was the low of 2 days ago, right on there. Below that, you have plenty of moving averages, and you also have the low of the pre-market plus the high from yesterday, which is I think really right on the low of the pre-market. So that area right there, you can see the clear support and resistance on that marker right on there. So I think that's plenty for CVS, guys. Let's hope that it can give us a nice clean move. Again, I have it here, but it could tend to be choppy sometimes. So let's hope that today's one of those days where it plays well. Disney, I do like. Disney is very active. Looking at the daily chart, I love the way it's sitting on this area of support. Low of the pre-market sitting at 134.33. Might be breaking that pretty soon if it continues on this downtrend. So we'll keep that on there for now. But look at where that area is. Again, just drawing that line right across, you can see the areas of support and resistance right around where the price action is now. This is why we're having this sort of hesitation and bounce, hopefully, from this level. So that's towards the bottom. Another level, if we lose the low of the pre-market, we have one all the way down here at 133.04. And the reason I like this level, guys, if you look closely at this area here, that's too much. I hate when this does that. All right, here we go. This area here, you have your resistance, you have your support. Again, support breaks down, and then you have some resistance. And also here the daily chart's not nice. It's a little crappy here. You can see how small the bodies are, but you can see how it's still somewhat playing around these two levels, the low of the pre-market and this 133.04. Then one more level towards the bottom will be 130.79. Towards the top, guys, you have your low from 2 days ago, your highs and lows from the last two trading days, plus your previous day close. Does not look like CVS wants to head in that direction, but I think you got plenty of levels towards the top. If you want something between the price action now and the top, 136 is an area you want to look out for, because you can see at 136 right on there, you can see how you have some hesitation and change in direction in several days. So 136.25, you can keep out for that level there. All right, so that is Disney. Next we have AMD. So AMD is daily chart is a little funky right now with all the action the SPY's been getting, but the pre-market action is great though. This looks very, very clean, and it's got some really good volume. 1.1 million shares traded. Trying to put in a little bounce here. As far as levels, we got plenty. Previous day close towards the top. Previous day high from the last trading day from yesterday. You got the high of the pre-market at 29.38, and then below that you got plenty of levels. Low from 2 days ago, right on here, and then you also have this 27.17 area. So I don't think you need to add any more for AMD. I think you have plenty of levels created by this little area here, support and resistance. So don't need to add any more to AMD. Next we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA is also trying to put in a very nice pre-market activity here, so you can see on the drop. As far as levels, I think we have some really good levels towards the top, because we did this previously. We have the high of the pre-market, which is very close to the high of 2 trading days ago, and then you have your high from yesterday, and then you have this 157 level right where that moving average is as well. Then towards the bottom you have your low from 2 days ago, and then you have this 147.14. Where are we getting that from? Yep, right here. So 147.14, guys, right in this area. That could be a good one to have as well. Next we have Facebook. Facebook is kind of the same situation as NVIDIA. So I'm gonna watch NVIDIA. I think I like NVIDIA better than Facebook this morning, although Facebook has the same pre-market activity, but I can't watch that many. So I'm gonna watch NVIDIA. I'll take off Facebook. Roku, I'm not gonna how am I not gonna watch Roku? You know what, I'll leave Roku here as a possible, guys, because I think Roku is an area where it can sell down here. It can be very nice. Doesn't have quite the volume yet, but this could be a good possible for us today. So let's get some areas here. We have a support down at 92.61, one all the way down here at 87.50. I'm also going to put this down here at 90.52. Towards the top, you got a lot of congestion up here, right? So you have your moving averages. You have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You above the price action, you have the previous day close. So it's a lot of resistance towards the top. For me, I'm going to mark down 176. And the reason is because where the price action is now and the previous day close, I think getting to 102 is a stretch. You need something in between here to kind of have an area of a target. I picked 107.76 because you do have some areas where it looks like it was consolidating and hitting, bouncing off this 100.76. All right, so that's Roku. I'm going to keep that one. Next, we have LL. So LL, the pre-market activity is not great. I'm going to keep this one as a possible. Low of the pre-market sitting at 670. Then below that, that's the 10-year low. So again, not really any more recent levels down here towards the bottom. So we'll leave that like the way it is now. And then towards the top, high of the pre-market is right where the low from yesterday was. So don't really need to add any more levels in here. But again, guys, this might not make my final list because right now the pre-market activity is still not looking great. NEWR, this one here has some activity, 157,000 shares traded. 5 minute looks like it's trying to get going. I do like this drop though, and the fact that we can play both ways. We have shorts and inventory available for this. So with this drop, I do like this situation it's in at the moment. So low of the pre-market 60.29. High of the pre-market sitting at 67.84. Let's go back real quick. We can look at the weekly and see what we have here. So going over to the weekly, you can see the pre-market low is right at this area of support for these last couple of days, back in this area here, 2018. So that's good. Towards the bottom, I'm going to mark down this one here, 56.01. And then I think that's plenty of levels for NEWR. So that's plenty of levels for that. Every time I see this, I'm thinking of the Newark airport or something. So, I'm having trouble. Like, I want to say Newark.
Go short.
Yeah, exactly. Go short because that airport. Oh my God. All right, guys. So that is what we have right now. I know there's a lot on the gappers list, so I'm just quickly going to go over what we have here. So RYTM is it's looking okay. Again, this is up quite a bit, 27%. So I'm interested to see what it's going to do. We do have shares for sure. It has some good volume. Pre-market activity not looking great, but I'm interested to see what the open is going to bring us here. Weight Watchers starting to lose it here as well. So again, it's up 18.5. So I think this will be a good one to watch today. See what we can get out of that.
Weight Watchers has a fairly high short float at 18%. It's not astronomical, but it's pretty high.
Yeah, that is pretty high. CVS as well, it's looking okay, starting to put in a nice pre-market activity here. Hopefully it can continue. It's got some volume, it is up quite a bit, and we do have some nice levels towards the top. So hopefully this can give us a nice play today. Disney is looking very interesting, guys, as well. Again, we're sitting at this area of support. We're trying to get a bounce in here so we can see if this bounce is going to happen, or are we going to bounce and then break this area of support at 134.36. It could be great for a short, but again, very important, guys. Wait for the action to give you the direction this thing is going to possibly head in, right? Don't just take it short on a bias just because you think it's going to continue dropping. You know, wait for that setup. AMD here also has a great pre-market activity. I'm gonna have a SPY chart up as well this morning just to see what else is going on there today. So NVIDIA, I got some possibles here. I got Roku as well, LL, and also NEWR. I'm gonna finalize this list as I get closer to 9:30. So that's it, guys. That is all we have. Norma, unless we missed something.
Not that I can think of. Did you take a look at Match by chance, MTCH?
Yeah, they take off MTCH. See what they're doing now. Yeah, I took it off earlier, but it looks like it's starting to get a little bit better now. So I do like this one here. Oh, I took it off because I didn't have shares for short. But yeah, this is a good one here. So we'll do some levels, guys, because this one, if you do have shares for sure, this could be a good one today. So low of the pre-market 84.35, high of the pre-market 87.99. So you mark that down there, and this is all-time high for MTCH. It looks like it is. Let's mark this one over here at 79.
I believe it is.
It is. So that makes it very interesting, guys. Yep, you know what, I'm gonna throw it on here as a possible in case it hits our turbo breakdown scanners, because sometimes you get these stocks that they'll sell off a bit, but if they gap up and they could be strong. We also what Shake Shack did yesterday, right? This thing was on fire, so it just took off and was strong for the entire day. So we'll keep this one here.
And Match does have a high short float, which is contributing to this massive pop it's getting here.
All right, so let's see here. So Norm, you're watching. What are you watching this morning? What do you like? I see.
Essentially, the same stuff you are. I just mentioned Match because I've got that on my list. And then one of the guys mentioned Capri Holdings. I didn't see enough volume on that to pique my interest. So just NVIDIA, Facebook, Apple. I'm going to kind of throw Roku to the wayside, especially on a morning as crazy as this. Roku might just go insane. So I'm going to choose something that might be a little bit smoother. And then we'll see about Weight Watchers, CBS, Match, Disney Rhythm. So RYTM.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make this list a little bit lighter. Still got way too many, but I'm gonna work on this towards the 9:30 close. But right now I like these up here as well, and I do like NEWER if it can get some good activity here. All right, guys, Andrew's about to come on. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Thanks for joining us. Morning, Andrew.
Thanks, Carlos. Good morning, everyone.